At the Alzheimer's Association, we have 10 signs to watch for. And that first sign that I think is really important and we see most often is all of a sudden I'm not remembering as well as I used to. And let me back up a little bit. If you are someone who is younger than 65 or someone that you're working with is younger than 65, the chances are less that they have Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease really strikes those who are in the 65 or older category. People who are younger than 65 can get Alzheimer's disease, a form of Alzheimer's disease, and it's younger onset, but it's usually the 40s or the 50s. So anybody younger than 50 having a memory problem, it may have been something like a brain injury in the past or some other issue that's affecting, and it could look like this memory loss. So that first sign of memory loss is something that you want to just bring to the person's attention. Say, hey, we talked about this, we had this conversation yesterday. Do you remember you said to me that you were going to go check something out or that you would do something? Maybe you forgot. Maybe the person will not even remember the conversation. So now this time you might, if you've noticed this sign in someone that you're working with, you might want to write it down. So maybe you have written it down and maybe they've lost the paper. So you might want to do it again. Often people who are experiencing memory loss, they'll be in denial. They won't say to you, yes, I have been forgetting things. They might say, no, you're the one forgetting things. I don't know what you're talking about maybe. But you have to have patience and to realize the first time you tell somebody who might have any kind of cognitive impairment like this, the first time you tell them something might not be successful. So as I said, that memory loss is really the cornerstone that most people experience. But I also described having challenges with your planning and your thinking. So you always, you've worked at the same place for years. You've gone maybe shopping at the same place for years. You've gone to your friend's home who's lived there for years. And all of a sudden you're getting lost. You're not able to navigate how to get there, how to take a bus, how to drive, those types of things, not following through with your plans. And it really affects your daily living. So we're not talking about memory loss or planning problems that, we just forgot where our car keys were and then we find them. That's kind of normal. That happens to all of us, especially if we're stressed out or there's something else happening. But this is something that's reoccurring and really affects your daily life. Another sign is difficulties completing familiar tasks. So things you've done all the time. We use the example of, maybe baking a cake or cooking a dinner that you've always cooked, and all of a sudden you're lost. What happens next? What are the ingredients? I don't know, where I am even in this process. Another one that happens frequently is confusion with time or place. So you tell me you're picking me up maybe for an appointment on Friday, and you'll be there at 10 o'clock to get me. And you come and I'm not there. I'm not ready, or I'm not there. You ask me, where were you? I was there Friday to pick you up. And I say, well, it's not Friday, it's Saturday. You missed me, or it's not Friday, it's Thursday, it's tomorrow. So I'm very confused in time and place, and that can be very difficult. So to really notice that about somebody, that I'm messing up my appointments, and not in a way that every now and then we miss one or two things. This is every time I'm missing appointments, and it's affecting my daily life. Also, people who have Alzheimer's disease or dementia, they may have trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. So at some point, with some people with this Alzheimer's disease or dementia, what they're seeing and how they're processing it in their brain is not the same as it used to be. So hopefully what we see, we process correctly. Sometimes somebody who has dementia, or maybe the beginnings of dementia or Alzheimer's disease, has some cognitive issues. They're not processing it the same way what they see. And another way that this sign is very obvious to people, I've heard from other caregivers, that if you look at a loved one's car if they have a car, and if you look at the car, there's probably a lot of dings all around the car because the person is probably having trouble parking the car and judging the distances. So that's a big one. But also somebody who, people who have Alzheimer's disease are more likely to be a fall risk, have falls, because again, they're not judging the distances very well. And this is something that this sign is really affecting them. Another thing that happens with Alzheimer's disease later on down the line is that people will have trouble with their speech and with their word finding and speaking and writing. So I've seen times with people who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease where writing them little notes because their memory is affected and they're really not remembering well. Writing them little notes is really effective for a little while or a long while, but eventually those notes, I won't be able to read those words anymore. Even though I could read them a year ago or 6 months ago, all of a sudden that part of my brain starts to be affected and I just don't process words. But if you tell me, hey, can you go get your red jacket? If you write it down, I can't process that. But if you say to me, go get your red jacket, I might still be able to understand that and go do it. But it's just with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, it affects people differently. So for me, it might affect how I look at writing and how I process that, but it doesn't affect, I'm still able to, if you tell me to do it or ask me to do it, I can still do it. But it also happens the reverse, where some people, they're just not able to process those verbal cues, but they are able to look at the written word and have more luck with that. So this we see very often. It happens in different ways, those to people with problems with thinking, problems with speaking and writing. Another big sign to watch for, besides, I said the first one was really memory loss and how that's affecting your daily living. But another one is how you, if you're misplacing things, how you retrace your steps. So this is a pretty key one with Alzheimer's disease and can happen early on or can happen in the middle or even later in the disease. So I'm misplacing my wallet. I can't find my wallet. And I don't know the last time I saw it. And normally what would happen with somebody who doesn't have Alzheimer's disease and is not affected in this way, you'd use part of your brain that says, where was the last time I saw my wallet? When was the last time I bought something? When was the last time I took my wallet out? When did I last see it? And you maybe go around your home or go around in your bag to look for your wallet. And with Alzheimer's disease, eventually this type of activity of the brain ceases, and we don't have that ability to retrace. All we know is the wallet's not here. And it leads to a lot of, as you can imagine, misunderstandings and suspicions, because if I'm missing my wallet and I don't have the ability to retrace, I might think you took my wallet because we live together or we're together right now and my wallet's missing. Maybe you have it. So it's kind of a really complicated disease that can lead to different types of behaviors and ways of communicating and thinking. The last two are withdrawal from work or social activities. If I'm having trouble remembering, I'm having trouble planning, I'm late for everything, or I don't even know what day it is, I'm not going to agree to meet you, at a certain time and place anymore. I'm going to start to withdraw from those types of activities. I'm also in danger of having decreased judgment. Certainly with things like there's so many scams that are going on nowadays, not only for the elderly, but even for anybody, any age, you can be scammed. And these types of things with decreased judgment, this can happen with Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Then I will be at a point where I will really be taken advantage of. And I alluded to, this is just the last comment I'll make about those 10 warning signs, how I might experience personality changes or mood changes. So let's take my example about, not being able to retrace my steps and my wallet's missing. So all of a sudden I was never a suspicious person. I was never an angry person. I was never an anxious person. But now I think everybody's trying to steal my wallet. And I am extremely anxious and extremely upset. And maybe I'm even aggressive when I never was before. And so all of these signs can lead to something like a personality change, unfortunately. We have a great helpline that is nationwide, and the number is 1 800 272 3900. And that is a 24/7 available phone call helpline for anyone to call. Also, our website, alz.org, you can find everything we talked about today and then some. So we are happy to be able to connect you with resources and services.